Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. I really thought in all my years in the markets that I had seen it all, but I had not seen anything like today. The short-term weekly option volume that went off, the market cap increase on Tesla. I mean, the news came out that Hertz is going to buy 100,000 cars for their fleet over the next 14 months. But then you have the market cap increase. I think that deal was valued at about 4 billion, but then you have the market cap just explode. What did the market cap close at? Let me see here. Let me look over here. Let's see. Market cap 1.015 trillion. That was just up slightly. It went through the trillion mark. I mean, uh, it was an insane day. It was an insane day. By the way, if you're new here, please consider subscribing, clicking the like button, ringing the bell, especially so you get notified of the live streams. Going to be doing more and more of them in the future. Again, trying to find out a time that seems to work for people. So I will be working on that. Uh, so I'm going to mess around with some different times, but it's probably going to be between 4 and 5 p.m. Central Time, at least for the Tesla. I'm going to start doing the live streams, also the market overview, and probably some other ones. Test options in Tesla. So I don't have a cam set up on my third screen yet. I'll have to work on that, but here's the options volume. 275 of the 1000s, 216 of the 1050s, 154,000 of the 1100s, 59,000 of the 1150s, 71,000 of the 1200s. I mean, even you come down here, you have 13,000 of the 1800s, and they didn't have anything listed beyond there. Now, I actually had people contact me today. First, it's going to 2,000 this week, and then it's going to 10,000 by the end of the month, which would make it, what, a $10 trillion market cap? Don't think so, but again, who knows with Tesla? If you keep doing this kind of option volume, it gets insane. Also, this was posted earlier today. Let me just drag it over here. Here's comparing the calls puts in a bunch of different stocks. Let me glance over there so I can read it. You can see the option market was essentially Tesla. There is no other way to put it. 5.51 billion, and that was earlier today. It's just insane. Thank you, Dave. Or I'm not that Dave, I should say. So did I see this coming? Not to this extent. I mean, you have this kind of options volume and this kind of gamma going in. You first had the gap up on the news. It actually gapped. Let me go down the short-term charts. I mean, we had this level right here, the 945s, which is gapped above. Let me just show you how I analyzed the day. Let me take off some of these other levels just because they're sort of not relevant. So I'll get. Let me just. Hold on. There we go. I pulled my shares off the table at 900, which a lot of people did. I actually had a lot of people contact me on that same thing. With this being so, I think you mean overbought. This is definitely not oversold. It would be incredibly overbought. What do you think about a correction? I'm assuming nothing goes up forever. Yeah, no, I didn't think anything would go up forever, and literally, this is beyond. I there's stuff I do outside of this channel with Bollinger Bands and other stuff, and this has exceeded. Maybe I'll put up a Bollinger Band study just during this. Maybe we'll do a longer live stream But this kind of price action is ridiculous. Well, I'm wondering if this actually is going to be close to the end, and if somebody says they're calling the top. I don't like to call tops because I trail out of positions. Again, if you've seen my video on trading around a core position, generally the last comes off the table with trailing stop. Okay, because this is in bullish mode, but this could be in bullish mode even on the daily basis. It could even return to 850 and still be in bullish mode. I mean, unless you just get lucky, uh, you're not going to be able to call the top. That's just pure luck. If somebody says they sold the top, like all the people back here at the January 25th, who I sold the top. Well, not anymore. You didn't. There's a new top. But people were very happy they sold right then. They were, I nailed the top in Tesla forever. Well, no, you didn't. That's the thing. The tops are only apparent in hindsight. Can this keep going? I guess. I guess it's Tesla. If you keep doing this kind of option volume and you can generate these kinds of gamma squeezes, anything's possible. I don't see it continuing forever, but I'm wondering if this is going to turn into an island top. I would really be interested if we get some price action that is constrained and then we get some gap down back, below today's low and it leaves this island behind. That's what I'm really going to be curious about, whether we do get an island top. I'm just removing some of the other pointless levels today. At least we had those 945s called, and everything else I had to do was updated with intraday price action, which I will get to if everyone has time. We can make this a slightly longer live stream because again, I mean this was mind blowing with this kind of price action with this gap. And I'm not saying that's not impressive news with the 100,000 car deal over 14 months was Hirsch, but I think the market cap was up over the combined market cap of GM and Ford off a 100,000 car deal. And that's insane. You have those two companies that sell tons of cars. They are getting more and more into EV market. But again, I'm not going to get into fundamentals. Nobody really wants to hear it. And I wouldn't trade the stock fundamentally anyways because you'd be short and get your face ripped off. And it'll keep going till it doesn't. I guess people could say it could hit that 10 trillion. I really doubt it because then you'd have Tesla bigger than the whole market. When we had this gap up besides those other levels, the next key area, which we already identified, but here are the intraday levels that I used. I just came back to this low. That was my first one. We had that 980 reaction. Then I came up here, which gave me, 989 and that 1,000, and we based just below there. Once we went through that 1,000, coming up here, which gave me the 1023 levels, and then I had to drop. I mean, it was so nuts. I had to drop to the 1 minute chart, which I don't use 1 minute charts, but there's no pausing bars. There were no pausing bars anywhere. Then I just jumped it to here. That was in that first pausing bar I really nailed, and that gave me a 1044.94. You could have chosen here. Again, this is an area. You could have chosen some pausing bar here. That's just the first one I grabbed, and it gave me 1030s. We had a nice reaction there, so I just left it there to say, okay, let's see if we hit that 10. I was actually watching 1045 to 1050 because of the volume again at 1050s. How many did we end up doing at that 1050s? We ended up doing 216,000. Now the options were just going nuts even before 10 a.m. I mean, the thousands that were going off, it was insane. But those are the levels I use. But anywhere using pausing bars in here, let me jump to the 3 minute chart. See, you didn't even have a 3 minute pausing bar. That's where I was like, all right, I gotta go to a 1 minute chart. So and then it sort of petered out at the end of the day. But when you have a move like this, you have the 1 hour rotation zone all the way back at 993. Okay, 993, 1 hour rotation zone right here, this little ledge. So you could even retrace to even get back in contact with the 1 hour rotation zone, you're looking 990 to 1,000 roughly. The 4 hour rotation zone's all the way back below 950 and closing in on this gap. Uh, so that's really the key areas I'm going to be watching, because this thing is just even discounting today, it's gone completely. Look at the daily chart. I mean, you put it in perspective over the last couple weeks. And if anybody said they predicted this, all right, then if you're still trading, I don't know why, because you should own a private island if you can predict this kind of stuff. Like without just throwing out stuff and saying, I mean, it literally a prediction. Like, all right, I knew this was going to happen. You really knew that the Tesla market cap was going to go up one GM and Ford in one day with an insane amount of options off a 100,000 car Hertz deal. Then you would be richer. That you should be richer than Elon then, because you should be able to nail all these kind of moves. But that's enough about that. It's getting tough to even to nail these next moves. If it does keep going, let's see. We already had this other. I thought this next level was insane. 1116.65. And with today, you add up 1108 to 1116. That's technically the next major cluster area. So I don't know what else to say. That's the next major cluster area. Let's try to find the next minor cluster area. But this really looks like a blow off top. Can it keep going? Oh yeah. I guess I've learned never discount what Tesla can do on any given day. So the next area I'd use this back to. There's no point doing these like $5 and $10 things, because if this thing's going to scream higher again, then it's $5 and $10 projections aren't going to do anybody good. This is the last time it returned to the daily rotation zone. I'll get to some of these questions. We'll actually go through things. Thanks for all the comments, and I'll go through them because I really like this. I'm glad we have people participating. Thanks for liking this. Thanks for being here live with me. I really do appreciate this. Here's my next levels. I mean, it's off the charts overbought. Overbought. So just to clarify stuff, because I think sometimes you get it backwards. Can the above, like on an RSI, on a stochastics, anything that is a range bound overbought oversold indicator, up at the top is overbought, down at the bottom is oversold. It has not been oversold. I think the last time on my stuff was in August, so it hasn't been oversold in August. It got close a couple times in September, but we are definitely majorly overbought. Let me put up those Bollinger Bands. I even wonder. I even have them up here. So here's some Bollinger Bands. I don't normally put these on because I'm trying not to confuse people with too many things. I mean, I know if you're here, you're probably a very, very smart person because you are here. Uh, but I try not to get like 18 indicate. Some people put so many indicators on their charts, you lose sight of what's going on. So when I see things getting above the Bollinger Band, and these are these blue lines here, so you have an upper and lower band, and it pretty much it's just. This is set to 2 standard deviations, 21 periods. I like to share everything I do here. But generally, when I see it above the upper band, I'm expecting it to reconnect with the middle band. That's my first thing. So it got above the upper band, reconnected with the middle band. Look how far above the upper band we are. That's the 4 hour. Here's the daily. I mean, the daily, it gapped above the upper band. I can only recall a handful of times in my life, and a lot of them are Tesla, that I see stocks repeatedly gap above its upper 2 standard deviation band. So yeah, I'm expecting, like, again, even with this gap up, it comes in contact with the center band again. Now the center band's going to keep going up. So at this point, the center band's at 900. Does that mean it has to return to 900? No, but my key area with even the upper band is at the low today. So that's my thing. Now, how do we work our overbought condition off? as I've said many times, you can move sideways, you can retrace. As long as it does not break today's low, it's in, to me, it's in a sideways correction, letting stuff catch up. So that's my line of sand for a correction, and this is why you never know. This is why I like to trail out of positions. But again, a trailing stop based off the daily would be below the rotation zone, which is all the way back at 840. This thing could still easily, on a daily basis, return here, and it still would technically in bullish mode. And on a weekly basis, and I have the same stuff I've done for years, as long as it remained above the weekly rotation zone, which is back at 770 roughly. So it could even retrace there and rotate back up and still be in bullish mode. That's why it really helps. And I'm like in the comments, and not necessarily in the chat during this, but in the comments, and you can go back to this or when I edit it. I want to know how many people. I'm really curious here because maybe I'll do a live stream sometime on. I've done this in the past a long time ago for on a paid basis, but how many people have a written trading plan? I really want to know that, and leave that in the comments, or even email me at Path Trading Partners. And I'm really curious because one of the things people say, oh, I left money on the table, I should have done this, it was going to keep going. Let's say we had bad news come out today, and I'm going to go through a lot of topics today. If you have to drop off, well, thank you for watching. But if this gap down the same amount, let's say it lost, over 100 billion in market cap, some bad news came out, something happened to Elon, it gapped down. Everybody who sold last week would be, I knew it. See, I'm glad I sold. Today, everyone's like, oh, I shouldn't have sold. It kept going. Again, you only know it in hindsight. That's why even if I'm trailing out of stuff, am I good? My final stop is not going to be on today's bar. If we start getting to below today's low, especially watching the open and the low price is my key area, then I'm going to start watching for the bigger pullback, because I really think we could set up an island top up here, which even if you get multiple bars that don't violate that low and then you gap back down, that would be very interesting. If I'm going to predict anything, I want to see if that happens, just for the sheer sake of the game. This is now sort of a game at this point. So let's get back to the shorter term charts to let everybody go in tomorrow. And again, I would not just buy a minor. If you're in this, again, I can't give trading advice, but if you're in this for the long haul, if you're not just day trading this, this is incredibly overbought, and I would be very picky with a re-entry and wouldn't chase it unless you're like, okay, if it buys on a dip, like if it comes back to even this 1,000, this is the 15-minute rotation zone. Bottom of it, we had this little resistance shelf. We bumped this up a bit, right around there. That's a really nice fit. So you have 994.90 to 997. I'm just going to say 1,000 because you start dipping below 1,000, it could get interesting. There's going to be a lot of buyers if it does dip back to 1,000, but that would be an entry just for a potential quick little retrace trade. Is that someplace I'd want to establish a major position? No, it's not. Why? Because again, you have this huge gap. I'm gonna go stick my neck out there because that gap will get filled at sometime. Don't know when, but it will get filled. So let's see what else. And look, even that the 12.5% harmonic is all the way back at 920. All right, so we were looking at the 15-minute chart. Looks like I'm getting some delayed data. There we go. So your first little line in the sand this is for the super active traders. If you're going to lean against a level tomorrow, this little quick line in the sand that I will be watching going off the open is this about 1017, top of the 15-minute rotation zone. If it holds there and we rotate back up, well, then I'm just watching at this point for 1045 again. Above 1045, 1068, 1092, and then we have the cluster area of 11,008 to 11,016. I guess I'll then on the top level, we're in about 1172, and those levels are for moving up stops and or taking profits. We start breaking below, especially this little resistance shelf becoming support, which would take us below the 15-minute, and you can really watch the 1 hour. So I'd be trading this off the 1 hour. If you start getting a close below the 1 hour rotation zone, my next support, if you want the minor ones, I mean, it's here. Those are minor, 975 and 966, and I hate going that short term with these little minor areas, but it's so overdone now. We have to watch for these other areas of support because the bottom support, again, 950, because this level will be up there in no time. So 950 is my support level. If we break below 950, and I'm not just talking tomorrow, 944.18 was the low today, and then we got the gap fill. 4 hour rotation zone, I mean, it's going to come in contact, but it's pretty much that it's going to come in contact with that low, so there's no point even looking at 935s. That's going to keep rising with this price action, even if we pull back. It's so overextended from there. So in a nutshell, it is the we start getting below today's low daily. If just a return to the daily rotation zone would be back to 900, but that's going to keep rising. So my next, if we did break below today's low, my next support would be the gap fill right here. That would be my next major area I'd be watching for some kind of potential support shelf to list. Let's take a look at some of the comments. I'm just gonna, let me switch over here. There we go. Let's see, I got some buttons coming up. Well, hold on, I had to broadcast, we'll get back. Up 175K from 15K on weekly calls. Wow. There you go, Wavy. Again, oops. Let me go through those. Oh, I don't have a next comment line. Okay, thanks for the levels. You are welcome. Again, even if the top is in the amount of money it has made for long buyers is far more than enough in such a short amount of time. Waiting for that, waiting for a little breather here. I agree with you. Even as a bull, I find this insane. Yep, Dave. Buffett would say the water smell of greed. They do smell of greed. All right, we got Wavy again. 1200. He thinks 1200 is possible in the short term. Oh, I got my level is 1171.40, and then if we have a bunch of those 1200s going off, that's how I'd fine tune it. Again, short term, I'm just going to watch, but we need a massive repeat of today with the options volume. Again, it gets harder and harder to juice at these levels. So you're going to need some massive weekly call option. I would not be surprised to at least see some consolidation before, and then maybe another juice up at the end of the week. But again, I'm not going to predict that. I'm just going to go and watch what happens first thing off the bat tomorrow. They've been buying it since 2013. How we can't have how I don't see how we can't see a pullback again. Even if it's not really a pullback. Even if we remain above today's low, because it could just be based off the size of this bar, it could be a sideways correction, and letting the overbought work off and letting the rotation zones catch up. Unless we start filling that gap, I'm not even considering it that's what I'll consider a pullback correction. Otherwise, I'm considering it just a sideways correction. You're welcome, Dennis. My thesis has been wrong for the past month, though. Well, based off Dave, so because Dave's been wrong for the last month and thinks there's going to be a correction, it's going to 1200. There you go, Wavy. 1200 for you. I do backfix for a pullback to 770. 770. Again, where's... You know, if it pulled back to the bottom of the weekly rotation zone, and this is the weekly rotation zone right here, you know how many people would freak out that the Tesla was crashing and it would still technically, and the way I do things, be in bullish mode? Okay, it would take a technical hit, but it would still be because you can rotate back up. So that's what's so funny about this. Dave, did I answer this? Let me know. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Did I answer your question about an island top? An island top is essentially a major topping, potentially reversal pattern that signifies the end of a move, and it doesn't just have to happen in one bar. Again, that's why I'm going to be watching this low. You could have a series of bars and then a gap down. It wouldn't. We need a gap down though to leave an island formation up there, and it's how a lot of completely insane moves are overdone. But even if this goes higher, like let's just say Wavy's correct. We got 1200 on the screen. This thing runs up to 1200, leaves this gap behind, comes back down, then gaps down. It could still be a massive island top. So I'm just curious if that's going to happen. Again, Wavy thinks another split's going to come up. So what else do we have? So yeah, there are a few gaps to fill since 800. I mean, this is the most obvious one. We have these little ones look minuscule now based off this. Do you do day trade with options or commons? Both. So I think I expanded enough on that island top, Dave. I mean, it's just a massive topping formation that generally happens after a pretty substantial run up, and then you run out of exhaustion and it traps a lot of people. But again, it's still too early. It's just the first thing that jumped to mind when I saw this kind of price action with this huge gap. So I'm just curious if it does happen. What's the Well, here, I got to answer this one. What's the best way to support you in the channel? If it's not monetary, then, commenting, liking, everything you can do for free. If you want to support it financially, right now it's in the description. I have the Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Just give a donation, and I'm going to be setting up. I'm going to be re-recording a bunch of technical analysis coursework. So when that comes out, you're free to buy that. Again, there's no pressure. It's going to elaborate on more stuff that I do. So that's going to be another way in the future for you supporting it. And I really appreciate all that, because, as you see, I'm with all the cameras. I'm buying more cameras just to try to streamline this experience. Ken, if this was going to move sideways and burn down the RSI, would you be looking for the RSI be oversold in the 1 hour or the daily? Oversold? Boy, oversold. If I was going to watch something get oversold, at least it would be on the 1 hour. Okay? And we haven't had a 1 hour oversold in a while. And this is only a 5-period RSI. I mean, the last was the end of September when it really pulled back. So that's my first thing. To get oversold on the daily, that would be a move that would freak people out. If we got oversold on the daily off of this, that would be the correction that would trap a lot of people. So let's see. Ahmed, again, I know it's crazy to say this. Oops, hold on. Sorry, hit the wrong button. I know it's crazy to say this, but how does a $4.1 billion order at $100 billion in market cap? Is this just margin leverage and excess liquidity in the markets? It has something. These markets have turned, and I'm not just talking Tesla, I'm talking the markets. They're with the momentum stocks, with the meme stocks, it's sort of turned casino-ish. The last time I saw stuff like this was 1999 when it turned into a casino back then also, and it keeps going till it doesn't. And it does. You can't even. It's why the fundamentals don't make sense. Yes, a 4.1 billion order as 100 billion in market cap. You can't fundamentally justify it, but that's why we're doing technical analysis here because. Oh, and I'm not just talking at Tesla. There's a lot of companies that fundamentally the valuation is insane. But again, you can get more insane. The valuation with Tesla has been insane, but it's more insane now. It's like look at it compared to every other auto manufacturer. I'm sorry, every other auto manufacturer is not going out of business and only leaving Tesla. That's just not going to happen. But uh, let's see. I think that's pretty much everything. Any other questions? Again, my recap is with the today's open to the low price. That is my critical area I will be watching. Other than that, I have to go down to the 15-minute charts at this point with everything being so crazy, and that 1017 is the first line of support, and then back at 1,000 is major support now, which for me to be saying seems absurd, but that's the way it is based off this price action. I mean, I didn't think we could top last week's gamma information, gamma juicing, but we have. Yeah, fundamentals have been thrown out the window since the first split. Some say even before. They have been. In my book, and again, I'm not just referring to Tesla. There's other stocks that the fundamentals are insane off the charts, but it will keep going until it doesn't. I remember, I mean, I've said this before, I've been around since 92 in the markets, originally option market maker. But fundamentals, we went on a huge growth stock cycle back until the dot-com bust. And then growth and went out the window, and all of a sudden value came back in, which means you valued stuff fundamentally. And through, even through 2009, it was value stocks. It was value stocks, and growth, was harder to make money with. Value stocks was the way to go. When things were properly valued, you could still, I traded everything technically, but value stocks were the way to go. Now, since then, since 2009, 2010, it's gone back into growth momentum, and just value doesn't matter. Value simply doesn't matter. And it will come back in. It will go cyclical again at some point, and I don't know when. It will go into a cycle where growth is poo-pooed. Growth, hey, things, it's generally when so many people get burned at some point, when we have a correction in a lot of these way overvalued stocks, and a lot of people get burned, and then they start looking for value, and then they sort of say, see, I knew it. I need to be back in value. So that's the way. But do I know when that'll happen? No idea. So yeah, that's why, again, I'm still a technical trader. I still look at fundamental valuations, especially for the portfolio I run, because I hate to put things into things that are way too fundamentally overvalued. But it's really tough these days, and you get something like this again. What's the market cap? 1.015 trillion. So how many? Does somebody know how many? How many companies? Is it 4 or 5 now above 1 trillion, or that have been above 1 trillion? I know Apple still is. I don't know Facebook at this point. I know they had earnings this afternoon. By the way, for people around here, do you want me to do more with some other stocks, especially with earnings coming out, and highlight those? Or I know we've geared it towards Tesla and some other things in the past, but I'm just wanting some feedback. Again, you could put that in comments. You can email me. I'm just trying to help, expand the channel, attract some more people. can I speak a little on your current course offerings? The content has been a huge help since 2019. Yeah, I'm in the process of redoing a bunch of stuff. I'm simplifying stuff. I'm adding in some stuff I haven't taught in the past. Uh, I'm just going to really get, and it's going to be reasonable. It's not going to be these insane, overpriced junk courses that are just going to oh, you got to give me $5,000 and I'm going to teach you some magic stuff. I'm trying to get, I've put a lot of years into this. We're going to go on 30 years. So my, the courses are, just going to be some of the encapsulated stuff. It's going to elaborate more on stuff I teach here. Does anybody have to buy it? No. It's going to be a great way to support the channel because it's going to be reasonably priced and just a way to archive all my thoughts plus some new teaching stuff. Do I have any positions overnight yet? Let me add this. Do I? Yes, I do. I hold positions overnight all the time. So I just, there's some things you day trade, some things you hold. And I currently have positions I am holding overnight. It's not the money value, it's expected potential. I understand you have expected potential. It's what drove Amazon for years and everything else. However, if you look at the amount of cars, even in the next couple of years, they sell versus their valuations, they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near. They'd have to essentially wipe out every other auto manufacturer. And if you think that's going to happen, I guess they could be fairly valued. I just don't see that happening. And again, you're at $1 trillion market cap. How many cars are they projected to sell this year? Does anybody know? Can you type that in? Uh, Thank you, Wavy. Wavy confirmed Tesla's the $5th trillion company we've seen in the US to date. Thank you. It was 4 or 5. Thank you for confirming. Okay, maybe we'll take a look at a Peloton and Square. Okay, thank you, Amit. As you know, I am a big Peloton fan because I own one. So, uh, thank you again. I'm going to wrap this up unless anybody wants me to stick around for any more questions. So, thank you for, this was a longer broadcast. Wow, I think this is the longest live stream I've ever done. And I really appreciate everybody attending. Amazon and Google at 1 trillion plus. What did Facebook do, by the way, after with earnings? So let's just see, where are they? Oh, I saw some stuff scroll by, so they're jumping. By the way, anything Facebook, I'll probably put this out there again. I will get very, very bullish if we get above on a closing basis is 343.98. The first warning sign, we have this gap left behind. I know this is a Tesla thing, but I'm just looking at Facebook in case somebody cares. I'm watching again. We start getting a close above, which it looks like, unless we have a sell-off tomorrow, a close above the 20 seconds high. I'm watching for the gap fill coming in and also in contact with this declining path trend line. If we can get above there, I'm targeting this this defining point of the trend line, 343.98, and then this off this this is the 200 simple, been really nice support. So we'd be coming off into a really nice, I'm treating this as a double bottom formation, 357.29, 363.94, 370.59. But that's only if it does trigger above 343.98. Looks like rallying after hours with Facebook. So I'm going to try to get them out before the end of the year, Amit. I just have to keep recording and getting everything done. So we were redoing the website now. The new website is still a work in progress, but the new one went up this afternoon. So if anybody wants to go to Path Trading Partners, we have a new website up, and that's getting released. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to wrap it up now. And I will talk to everyone later. Have a wonderful evening, and let's see what Tesla brings us tomorrow. Bye for now.